Welcome in to Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton here on this Thursday, a Throwback Thursday edition, a brand new segment coming your way later in the show. If you missed one of our favorite segments.
It's a brand new segment, but
this is a weird one. It's new today, but it's old. Mm-hmm. It's very, it's hard to
We'll explain.
Basically, one of our favorite interviews from earlier in the week, or even who knows, it could be from way back, depending on what the conversation is about.
Or last week, as is the case today.
And so we're going to play you one of our favorite interviews. So looking forward to showing you that. And we've got two special guests joining us. Brad Slaughter of Santa Fe, and yes, Ian here in Tennessee. Santa Fe is pronounced Santa Fe. So things are a little weird here in Tennessee. Much like
they would tell you it's weird in New Mexico.
There you go.
So yeah.
And so
it's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective. But we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Again, Brad Slaughter is going to join us from the Santa Fe Wildcats. We'll also talk with former Ole Miss and Duke head coach, former Tennessee offensive coordinator, and former boss to brand new Austin Peay head football coach, Jeff Ferris. We're going to talk with David CUTCLIFFE, now serving as assistant commissioner of football in the Southeastern Conference. We're going to talk to him about his former protege and what that means for Austin Peay up in Clarksville. Maybe some other things that come up considering what happened last night, the Southeastern Conference announcing their 2024 football schedule.
Well, I mean, once we've got Coach Cut, we're going to have a tough time letting him go.
Yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt. It's going to be a coach. If you got to run, let us know.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to take you right up until
we can.
Then.
So,
guys, I got to go. All right, cool.
We understand.
Yeah.
But until then, we're just going to rapid fire.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not sure that's going to necessarily come with Coach Cut either.
Nah, who knows?
He enjoys talking. He enjoys us. We've been fortunate enough to have him on at the last two SEC media days, and it was a treat. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like you guys don't go back a ways. So there's plenty to talk about with Coach Cut. We're going to get to that. Listen, we're actually going to talk NBA today without a guest. So
we are.
So tune in for that.
Buckle up.
Because it should be fun. Terry McCormick will join us as well to talk about the Titans at the top of the hour. All of that is coming your way here in just mere moments. But first, we need to get you the results from yesterday and this morning as I finalize that score on the rundown.
Here's the rundown.
Men's basketball action from Wednesday night. Tennessee State went up to Lynchburg, Virginia, and dropped a 74-52 decision to Liberty. This morning, a little matinee action as Austin Peay's women defeated Fisk 72-64.
They needed a 26-14 fourth quarter in order to obtain that 8-point win.
Oh, wow. Okay. The Lady Bulldogs kind of serving notice.
They were certainly in the game.
Good for them. Okay. In the association last night, Houston with a 117-104 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Today's high school basketball schedule, these are all doubleheaders, all beginning at 6 o'clock with the girls' games. Guys to follow. Clarksville is at Clarksville Northwest. Loretto is at Cornersville. Culleoka hosting Moore County. Donaldson Christian takes on visiting Lead Academy. Lewis County travels the short trip to Hampshire. Creekwood is at Harpeth. And Clarksville Northeast is at Henry County.
Still trying to get Lewis County to annex. Dixon County is at Kirkwood tonight. Lawrence County hosting Muscle Shoals of Alabama. They bring the #1 hits with them. That'd be great. Liberty Creek is at Maplewood. Mount Pleasant tonight on MainStreetMediaRadio.com. You can hear sultry tones of Wade Neely and myself. Giles County will be at Mount Pleasant at 6 p.m. It is the Main Street Media Game of the Week presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. We also have community at Murfreesboro Central. Rossview's at home against West Creek, and Kenwood goes to Springfield. In girls only action, Smyrna is at Holloway. What is that?
I don't know.
Okay. Holloway is a brand of sports clothing. That is what I know. That's the old pullovers we have are Holloway. That's the only thing I know about Holloway.
Holloway is in Murfreesboro. I did not know they had an athletic program.
Apparently,
they do
have a girls team, girls basketball at least. Men's basketball tonight. Jacksonville State is up at Wisconsin, 6 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Women's basketball. Cumberland and Warner are probably over by now, as a matter of fact. Let's see if Cumberland has the score scheduled. But they do. 58-39 winners were the Lady Phoenix. Lady Phoenix? That's weird. At Warner, so winners there. They'll play tomorrow at 1 p.m. against Weber International down there at Warner. Also tonight, Chattanooga is at Lipscomb. And in the NFL, on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime at 7:15. It's the Chargers of Los Angeles and the Raiders of Las Vegas, just so you know.
And neither of them will be with their starting quarterback from week 1.
This will be the least interesting Thursday night game since the Broncos
since the last one.
Probably.
Easton Stick getting his first career start for the Chargers with Easton Stick from North Dakota State, I believe.
Easton Stick, I love it.
After Justin Herbert underwent season-ending surgery on a broken right index finger, and Purdue's Aiden McConnell has been installed as QB1 for the Raiders.
For a while now.
He's been in there for a little bit because Jimmy Garoppolo got exposed, basically.
There you
As
go.
did Josh McDaniel.
And so that is, folks, your rundown.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Top stories brought to you by our friends at Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Make sure to go by and see those folks if you are
hungry
now or later.
If you're hungry for something to eat immediately, or if you're hungry for something that you don't mind cooking,
then they've got
Piggly Wiggly is your place.
That's the best part. That's the best thing that you can have, though, right? A place where I can get food now and food later. It's a good day. They've got great cobblers, meats, vegetables. It's all delicious at the deli. You can go by and pick up lunch or early dinner. You can also get fresh hand-cut meats, great produce, all cost plus 10 at the register. That is 10% above their cost. So today's top story caught me off guard, Mo. Not going to lie. As I was scrolling through Twitter.
As you're wont to do.
Before the show, since I'm not allowed to during the show anymore. For yesterday's debacle. I came across a little exciting news as Brentwood Academy has hired a football coach.
They have indeed. And there is a story on the mainstreetpreps.com website to that effect. Paul Wade, who spent the last 6 years
Four-time champ Paul Wade.
Four-time champ Paul Wade.
Four-time.
Spent the last 6 years at Donaldson Christian, winning the last of those 4 state championships. After previously serving as head coach at Davidson, as an assistant at Christ Presbyterian, and as an assistant at Ensworth, has taken over the reins of the Brentwood Academy Eagles. And basically, this kind of fulfills the expectations of a number of folks in and around high school sports in Middle Tennessee, in that Brentwood Academy would stay a little closer to home with this hire after Jacob Gill, a former assistant over at Shiloh Christian in Arkansas, departed after one historically bad season in that program, 2-10. I don't think Brentwood Academy was that bad in their first season of football. So,
You know, well, to that point, that division, that region is disgustingly difficult. And I understand that. But Brentwood Academy was one of the reasons it was supposed to be disgustingly difficult. And it turns out that the 2023 version of the Eagles were less than stellar. That being said, you know, Paul Wade is, as far as it goes around here, probably one of the best coaches that they could have hoped to have gotten. I mean, Ingle Martin's not leaving CPA, and there's just that's just not happening. But when you talk about guys who are solidified in Middle Tennessee, have a long history of success, Paul Wade is right there among the tops of that list.
absolutely. And again, he's done it both as a head coach, 4 state championships, 12 state championship game appearances over 32 total seasons. Coached 21 Mr. Football finalists, 7 winners, and has sent 70 players onto the collegiate ranks. So, and he's, and you said it, he was as good as they could have hoped to have gotten, I think. Well respected, not just for his success, but I mean, he's just a good dude.
He is a good dude.
And he's going to get Brentwood Academy back on solid ground pretty quickly. I don't think they're that far from it.
No, I mean, when you've got guys like, and this article mentions them, 5-star quarterback George McIntyre, Tamari Hill, Colby Harmon, Shavar Young, and Easton Joyner, those guys are,
among others.
Yeah, those guys are just the top of the iceberg. I mean, it is a school that is just loaded with talent, just waiting to be uncovered, and they've got plenty of it. I think this is going to be huge. Jason Matthews, athletic director and dean of community engagement at Brentwood Academy, said Coach Wade has been building football teams for years and works to get the most out of each individual student athlete. I think that's huge. More importantly, he also excels in building character, resilience, and a strong work ethic in his players. He will not be outworked, and the Brentwood Academy football team is in excellent hands. I think that is as accurate a statement as you could say about Paul Wade.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing how this evolves. Meanwhile, Donaldson Christian is in the market for a head coach.
Yeah, and you know that is the part of the coaching carousel that sometimes gets overlooked.
There are dominoes.
Dominoes, in fact. So what does Donaldson Christian do? How many of those folks from Paul Wade's staff follow him, and et cetera? So
and meanwhile, it's interesting when you particularly look at Division II, because Donaldson Christian is available.
BJ.
Battleground Academy is available. Ensworth is available. It's going to be interesting.
No, and I'm always curious, especially in D2, because it's a little bit different. And when we've talked about this, we talked about George Quarles, how he wants to stay in the Tennessee system, and to do that, you have to be at a public school.
Right.
And so, Division II schools have typically, now Ensworth, Brentwood Academy, they're a little bit different in that regard, but a lot of D2 schools have limitations because of that. They either have to go with a guy who's retired and wants to double dip, like Gary Rankin at Boyd Buchanan. He, left the public school system at Alcoa and then went to Boyd Buchanan and is coaching there, or a young guy who maybe, has never been a head coach before, like here in Columbia, where Seth Anderson is the head coach. And so you're kind of in a weird situation when you're a private school and in searching for head coaches, because you are a little bit hamstrung on maybe your talent pool.
It's different, and they typically have other constraints that they have to deal with from job to job. So I'll be I'll be fascinated to see how each of those three searches plays out here locally. But congratulations to Coach Wade, and congratulations to the
Brentwood
powers
Academy.
that be at Brentwood Academy, because I think I know they had to get this right, and I think they did get it right. So good for them.
Absolutely. All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hand out some hardware.
Now, do you want to
I did it again.
for the second time in 2 days?
Second time, not just two. Did it last week too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did it last week too. Did not mean to. Let's go to the Tennessee Sports Writers Association's Players of the Week.
Well, and I had them up and I lost them. Jalen Page of Trevecca is the TSWA Men's Basketball Player of the Week. And I'm going to tell you why here in just a second, because I too was caught a little off guard. Come on. Had a double-double, did Mr. Page, in a big Trevecca victory over Malone, at Malone. 26 points and 10 boards in the Trojans' 69-65 win Saturday in Canton, Ohio, which is where Malone is located. He
okay.
also, yeah, well, now you know. For the week, which also included a loss against Christian Brothers, Jalen Page averaged 23.5 points and 9 boards, 15 of 31 from the floor, 8 of 16 from 3, and 9 of 11 from the free throw line.
It's a good day.
That's not bad. On the women's side, we were just speaking of her team a couple of seconds ago. Fisk senior Maya Buchanan, in 3 games, the Lady Bulldogs lost at North Alabama. They defeated Wiley College out of Texas, and they defeated Philander Smith out of Arkansas. But in those 3 games, Maya Buchanan averaged 27.3 points, 16.3 boards. She scored 29 of his 60 points in that loss to North Alabama, 12 of 18 from the floor with 11 boards. 26 points, 23 rebounds against Wiley, 27 points, 15 rebounds against Philander Smith. She, at the time of this announcement, had recorded double-doubles in 8 of her 9 games, and 2 of those games were 2020 performances. Now, let's see if we can see. No, stats against Austin Peay are not posted yet. That's unfortunate, but I'm betting she had another big game today. So congratulations to Fisk's Maya Buchanan and Trevecca's Jalen Page, the Tennessee Sports Writers Association's Women's and Men's Basketball Players of the Week. This is the second time Ms. Buchanan has been recognized. So
my guess is she had a pretty good day today too.
I'm going
on a limb and say it's probably what happened. I don't know, but it's like
it kind of feels like as she goes, so go the Lady Bulldogs.
That is what it appears.
Yeah. All right. Now
we'll take a break. On the other side, Coach's Corner with Brad Slaughter. He'll join us. We'll also hand out some hardware to some local folks and much, much more still to come here on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Welcome back.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSWA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back to Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton here on this Thursday edition, a throwback Thursday, where we'll bring you one of our favorite interviews over the last week or so. And yeah, should be fun.
I think so.
And looking forward to reliving that interview with Steve Lehman from last week, Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Last Wednesday. That's right, because it was the same day as the Tennessee middle game. But that's coming up a little bit later in the show. We've also got David Cutcliffe who will join us, as well as Terry McCormick. But right now we stay in the preps ranks. We'll take you from preps to pros, I promise. But we're going to start in preps right now and go to Coach's Corner, where Santa Fe Wildcats boys coach Brad Slaughter joins us, most likely from, a secure location.
Highly secure.
Very secure here, guys.
Well, we certainly hope so. Yeah. Brad, appreciate you taking some time with us, man. Hey, 2 numbers that we need to throw at Brad.
All right. Wind up, pitch.
10,
And
which is the number of games that Santa Fe has won in 10 tries. And
so 0 is not the second number?
no, 0 is not the second number.
Okay.
The second number is 1,964.
Okay.
That's the number of points that Santa Fe junior Alden Slaughter currently has, making him, one, the school's all-time leading scorer as a junior. It's a total that he adds to every time he goes out on the floor. And it puts him, now I know you're from Alabama, but I'm sure you can do this math. It puts him 36 points short of
I did already do the math.
2,000 for his career, which would make him the second guy locally to hit that milestone, but the only underclassman. Brad, what's it like seeing your son have that kind of success on a nightly basis?
I mean, it's pretty awesome. You got to say, it's coaching him from the time he was little. It's really how I got into coaching. It was by accident. I only intended to coach like a little kids league at Zion. It was an upward was the league, and somehow I've just kind of came with him the rest of the way, I guess. But he's loved the game since he was little. He's put in the work, and so. To see somebody that works that hard get to, go perform well, we're happy for him.
You're a Santa Fe graduate. The Slaughter surname is pretty much synonymous with Santa Fe. Older son, Andy, graduated as the school's all-time leading scorer with 1,591 points. I don't know when Alden went by that, but clearly he blew by it. Again, he's a junior coming up on 2,000 points with an entire senior season to go after this year. I mean,
he's going to get a season and a half to go.
Yeah, he's going to put that number someplace where it's going to be pretty safe by the time he gets done. But I mean, for you, again, you discussed as a parent, but as a Santa Fe graduate, a Santa Fe product, to see somebody come through and do what he's done has got to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is, and I'll say we're going to have to protect him from watching this for the next couple of days.
Does he not know?
So no, it's all good. But
Okay.
I had a teammate when I was in high school in Santa Fe, real good basketball player that was approaching 1,000 points. And let's just say, in case he's watching, that he fell off a little bit, knowing he was approaching it. So I've always taken the stance of not telling him, which we're safe. That I don't think he'll be watching. But no, it's really cool to see it. I mean, I think his goal from going into high school was to be able to become the all-time leading scorer, and he actually got that in the district championship game last year. So that one meant a lot, and then is, picked up from there. So, but I will say for me and him both, he's, as the all-time leading scorer, we're really focused more on it. He's got tournament ambitions, that's what he talks about more than anything is, being able to get us a trip to Murfreesboro. That's something that Santa Fe's never done. And, that's the one on his bucket list that he's got highlighted is to take the trip to Murfreesboro.
And I would imagine that one burns kind of bright from the standpoint that you guys fell in a home sectional his freshman year, one of the best high school games I've seen, by the way.
Yeah.
But fell in the home sectional his freshman year, lost in the region quarterfinals last year. Is that right?
Region quarterfinals last year. Yeah. And
so really kind of feels like a little unfinished business for you guys coming into this year, I guess.
Yeah, it does. And it's just such a competitive district and region. And I think what the second number you threw out, the 10-0, what's the reason we're there is just respecting our opponent every single night. I think what this group has done a really good job of so far is understanding that, we believe that we can beat anybody any night, but we also believe that anybody can beat us any night, and we've stayed humble and made sure we come out and work hard every night. But we've been fortunate. I mean, we've had 4 razor close games, 2 overtime wins, and it's we know that every night we're gonna have to show up. So just got to be performing come tournament time, and a lot of season left, and our goal is to try to widen the gap, which that's what everybody's trying to do. So we're focused on getting in the gym, practice, and getting better.
Mo, when I talked to Andy in his senior year, I guess it may have been when he became the school's all-time leading scorer. I said he said, "I'm just going to enjoy it while I've got it because Alden's coming, and I can't wait to watch him be the best player this school's ever had." And that was very prophetic of him to say about his freshman brother at the time. And it really just goes to show the level of that you guys have kind of reached over the last few years. Obviously, Andy helped get you guys over that hump, and it feels like that Santa Fe goes into these seasons now with an expectation of postseason play and getting past district play and into the regionals. How does that affect your team every time out? Because it hasn't always been that way.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Number one, that's really what me and Andy and Alden all wanted to do. I actually got a Facebook notification before jumping on a few minutes ago of one of the 5 year ago reminders when we got our first win. So just 5 years ago, we were just getting our first win that the program had in 2 years. So we've worked really hard to turn it around. And like you said, I believe that was built on Andy's group, a lot of Andy and Colton and that group being good leaders and pushing Alden every day. I think they did a great job of developing him. That they recognized what he could do, and they still come to the games and hold him accountable. They expect a lot of it. They're graduated, and it has become an expectation in the town, and we take a lot of pride in that. And I think that it's something that's regularly talked about. When we have a gym full of people, which we're fortunate to have, each night, it's not one of the gyms you go to that's empty. It's awesome student section, and people that don't have kids on the team that are loyal and come out every night. That we know we got to do our best for the community as well. So we're playing for more than just us, for sure.
Brad Slaughter, boys basketball coach, Santa Fe Unit School, joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. The Wildcats 10-0. They head over toward the river Tuesday to take on a McEwen team that they've already beaten once at home, 66-47, about a week and a half ago as part of this 10-0 start to the season. And obviously, Brad, you can't talk about this team without talking about Alden. He was averaging 33.5 points a game coming into this week. I think he had 41 Tuesday night against Perry County. I'm sure he had a big night on Monday against Frank Hughes. I don't have it in front of me, but I mean, at the same time, you don't have the success that you guys are having off of just one guy.
No, I mean that's the complete difference, from the last couple years and his freshman year, is that we got other guys doing it. Number one, it's as you hear me say all the time, it's the coach's thing, I think, but it's it's based on our defense. We which truly takes 5. If we ever get one guy that's not defending at a really high level, you can tell it, and the whole unit breaks. So I think. Number one, all of the guys, even the ones that aren't in the scoring column, Austin Hazlett, Caleb Hazlett, those guys don't score a lot, but those are 2 of the better defensive players you'll see, especially for their size. They work hard for us every night. And, we've been shooting it well. I mean, making accidents, shooting at 40% from the 3-point line, averaging, I believe, just over 16 points a game. Alden shooting it close to 40% from the 3-point line. Jack Slaughter coming off the bench for us is shooting it at 40% from the 3-point line. And, multiple guys getting in the scoring column. I think we had I think we had 13 games last year that we had less than 6 points from people outside of Alden and Macon. And we have not had that happen yet. So we're getting the contribution from all the guys. And, we talk about everybody being a threat. So, the way teams like to play Alden, it's going to open things up. And if we can, continue to take advantage of that, things will open up late for him, which is, really what happened against Frank Hughes. Alden had 13 points going into the fourth quarter, and was just hitting open guys who were making them pay, and they adjust, and he scores 21 points in the fourth quarter. So that's how we ideally want to be able to do it. If teams over focus on Alden, we want him to make good decisions and get the other guys involved, and so far so good.
You talk about this defense, Brad. You guys have given up 55 points twice this year, given up 50 points twice this year, and your other 6 games, you've held opponents to 48 or less. And again, with the way you guys play offensively, you got to like your chances when you're doing that on the other end.
Right. Like, as you said, we get up and down the floor and have a lot of possessions in the games that we play. So, we really just try to focus on our opponent's field goal percentage. We want to keep our opponents in the low 30s or lower, and not allow second chance shots. So rebounding's been a big focus too. Defense doesn't do you any good if you don't finish it and rebound. So we're still got some improvement to do there, but we've won more games on the rebound battle than we've lost, which, again, I think last year we out rebounded our opponent twice last year. So that's something we're really focusing on that can help us come tournament time if we continue to get better rebounding.
Well, you mentioned it, how, you talk about how guys play for their size, and you don't have a lot of size. So when you have to have 5 guys going to the backboard every single possession, and, to be able to get kids to buy in and be tough and physical that way is really impressive. I mean, you guys do a great job of rebounding the basketball.
Yeah, we do. And I'll say, I think there's little credit I can take for it. Sometimes toughness is just in some boys. And, we got some boys I believe were born tough that just like to get after it and like to bang. So they make it easy on me.
Well, you guys have had a fantastic start to the season. Obviously, the real season is still ahead of you, but it has been a really impressive start to the year. So how do you feel going into district play? How do you feel like this team stacks up now that you've seen some other teams in the district, as well as your guys actually get on the floor?
Well, I think it's, probably part of our success, but I'm nervous every night we line up, Chris. I don't know who made this schedule, but I really do feel like every team we've played so far could have beat us, and I don't see that changing much. As we go into district and region. Richland's obviously tough. Eagleville in the region, we played them twice. Very fortunate to come out with a win in both of those. So it's a really tough district and region, and we just gotta again try to widen that gap and do the little things right and rely on our defense. So I think we start with Culleoka at home. We are lucky to have a little bit of a home start to district play, so I feel good about that, but got to bring it every night for sure.
3 straight home games to open District 10A play. Once you do come back from the holidays, you got Culleoka, Cornersville, and Richland all coming to your place. And if you're going to that Richland game, you might want to get there early because the Wayne Walters Gymnasium is not large, and I think there will be plenty of people wanting to see that ball game. So we're looking forward to it. Save me a seat. Brad Slaughter, the boys basketball coach at Santa Fe.
If you want a seat saved, you need to talk to the boss, not to Brad.
Trust me, I've got Ashley's phone number as well.
She runs the show there. Yeah, reach out to her.
I think I'll be in good shape. Brad, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining us here on Coach's Corner.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. See ya.
All right.
All right.
The countdown has begun
Yeah, I'm telling
to
you.
2000. Actually, it's been on for a
Yeah.
minute, I think.
So again, I thought you were going to ask me if you could hop a seat on the bus.
I don't think I'll be done here by the time they leave.
Probably. We may just have to have you on the show from the bus with your phone.
There we go. There
You
we
just
go.
get to
The
put it
road,
on.
the road show.
The road show for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's hand out some hardware, man. So we've got some local folks who deserve a little recognition.
Absolutely.
And so we'll start with the End to Win Life Team of the Week, presented by Custom Stone Handlers. Again, 931-490-4990 is the number, customstonehandlers.com. They proudly encourage young people to get in the game.
Our Custom Stone Handlers Into Win Life Team of the Week this week is the Summertown Lady Eagles. Picked up a couple of victories last week, 66-30 over Collinwood, 68-46 over at Spring Hill, and nicely dovetailed with the return of senior guard Carly Campbell, who had she had a thoracic outlet syndrome situation that kind of impacted her golf season, and they were still trying to get that addressed, and she missed the first few games of the basketball season. But you know, anytime you get a senior guard, an experienced senior guard back, it makes a difference, and it certainly did.
What did you say her name was?
Carly Campbell?
Is that what they call? I don't know.
Oh, they call her Rue. Yes, I'm sorry.
In case you ever go to Summertown
I'm
Girls
sorry.
game.
If you didn't know who Carly Campbell was in Summertown, you might not. Rue is back, and she's back with a vengeance. Yes. So a couple of big wins for Summertown last week, as they are our Custom Stone Handlers Team of the Week.
The Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week.
It feels a little odd recognizing
this person in basketball.
Exactly. University of Tennessee softball signee Savia Morgan of Columbia Central is our MTBJ Athlete of the Week. Averaged 18.5 points and 8 steals in a couple of Columbia Central wins last week. 8 steals. Averaged. Yeah, which means she probably had more than that in one game. Yeah. Scored 21 points in a 48-32 win over Summit. Again, they also won 66-26 at Hickman County, and defense travels, apparently.
So I want to say this because, and I don't mean this disrespectful to Savia, but the first time I watched her play basketball, I would have never thought she'd score 21 points in a game. And the improvement as a basketball player she has made from that first time to now.
I think what she's done is she's grown into her skills.
Right. She went from, a really quick defender who, kind of struggled to have control on the offensive side to someone who's now controlling her body. She controls her arms. She controls the way that she stops and shoots. It has been one of the most impressive improvements I've ever seen from a girls athlete. And it just goes to show the type of athlete she is and the type of athlete that Tennessee's getting on the softball field. It's going to be incredible.
It really is. I mean, as much as she's done on the basketball court, she's even more dynamic in softball. But the one thing that I enjoy about watching Savia, one, she plays hard.
She does. Every play.
And two, she can get her shot from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
she creates.
She's just fun to watch, man. And this Columbia Central girls basketball team is fun to watch as well. Looking forward to seeing what they do here heading into the break and after. So congratulations to her, to them, and to Summertown's girls as well.
All right. We'll take a break. I told you, NBA. We're going to talk about it. Giannis goes off last night. Oscar yeah,
Things get interesting.
Things got real interesting there and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about it on the other side of the break. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today comes back after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSWA.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
There we are. That was weird. Hey, welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, and Wade Neely's in studio now as, again, he gets set for tonight's Main Street Media Radio Game of the Week, presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Giles County, Mount Pleasant. Girls fight. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's the
cat fight, Bobcats, Tigers,
County Cats and County Cats. It's just all kind of whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I will be on the call with him, so looking forward to that as well. Mainly looking forward to dinner.
That's
what I'm looking forward to.
You better hurry.
Oh, we're going to get out of here pretty quick, I can tell you.
You know what? I might catch up with y'all. It's not that far.
No.
From there to Hampshire Unit School.
There you go. Yeah, you just
cut right across.
Hop over.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's the jam.
That might be what you do.
I'll see you.
The pizza place is where we'll be if you want to come by.
Come on through. Pull up, as the kids would say.
There you go. I said something the other day on Twitter, and I don't remember what it was, but it was some new slang term that everybody's using on TikTok. And the guy said, "You don't have to say that. You can just say this." And I was like, "Yeah, but if I don't, then I will, I stay hip with the kids.
There you go.
And I put the meme with
hello,
the hello fellow
kids.
Yes. Put that meme down there. It's like that's the only way I can do it. I don't know what do you want from me?
Pull up.
So anyway, we are talking NBA now because in the association last night there were a couple of things that took place. Number one, Draymond Green. And this didn't happen last night, but
the incident did not happen last night. The fallout
took place yesterday.
Yes.
As Draymond Green's antics have landed him in an indefinite suspension by the National Basketball Association.
Go to your room until I tell you to come out.
Yes. That's exactly what's happening here, and I think it's great.
Or as old school coaches would tell you, you gonna run until I'm tired.
Again,
much needed.
So his third ejection results
this year
in his indefinite suspension from the league at
this
point.
Year.
For
which now. John Morant was suspended for 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not back yet.
That's right.
The season is less than 25 games old. And Draymond has been ejected 3 times. 3 times in 23 games. The Warriors are 10-13, by the way. I don't know how much one has to do with the other, but.
He wasn't. There we go. He wasn't was he ejected in one of the in-season tournament games? Because those don't count.
That I couldn't tell you.
So I'm curious because those don't count, and we know that because of the next topic we're going to talk about.
Well, he was last, according to this CBS Sports article, his last suspension was for 5 games after the infamous chokehold of Rudy Gobert during that game with the Timberwolves. Looked like you tried to put him on a sleeper. But, so I don't know if there was one during the in-season tournament that I did not really pay a whole lot of attention to. But
Draymond said, I sell calls with arms. I don't fall to sell a call. I'm not a flopper. So I was just selling a call. Unfortunately, I hit it. As I've said before, a replay is never going to look good, but I know my intentions. My intentions were to sell a call. But I also know I'm not accurate enough puncher to do a full 360 and connect with someone. So, it's unfortunate. This is great. Hey, look, you got to respect the denial here.
Well, I mean, as my dad used to tell me, if you're going to tell a lie, stick with it.
No doubt. So, this is going to be an interesting situation. I'm really curious how Adam Silver and the league handles this situation and how long indefinite becomes.
I think that's the question. How long is indefinite?
I mean, because as of now, he's not sorry.
Yeah, and I think there's got to be some contrition at some point before he gets back in uniform. After further review, you know what? I really am sorry.
I mean,
and I don't know how you get there from
that denial.
I don't know how you get there. I don't know how you get to my bad from.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be.
It wasn't a punch.
Yeah. No. This is going to be interesting. This will be one of the more interesting things that happens in the NBA this year.
So, does he get more games or less games than Ja for doing something that is legal, was not on the court, was not in season, was it?
Mm-mm. I don't know.
Did not involve another player.
And certainly did not involve actual assault.
Right. So, does he get more or less?
I think it ends up being less.
That's unfortunate.
Especially
given Draymond's history.
Yeah, I think it ends up being less if if he does find a way to say he's sorry. But yes, Justin, give us that statement. I have a lot of respect for him, obviously, even before this. I still have it. I don't know what people go through, but he's an NBA champion for me, Hall of Famer still.
And that's from the dude he hit.
So, yeah, I mean, whatever. Anyway, so in-season tournament games don't count, at least not for points. And last night, Oscar Tshiebwe, the Kentucky product, scored his first official points in the National Basketball Association. Good for him.
Good for him.
Unfortunately,
how many points did he score?
You know what? I don't even know. I just know it was his first.
Well, I feel like
Kentucky, it was not 64.
Exactly. It was fewer than. Go ahead.
It was fewer than the 64 put up by Giannis, and you say it way better than I do. So
Antetokounmpo.
There you go. I'm going to point to you like that, like Pete Thamel.
Pete Thamel. There you go.
But Giannis puts up 64, which is not only a career high for him, but a franchise record for the Timberwolves.
No.
For the Timberwolves.
He doesn't play for the Timberwolves.
I mean, not for the Bucks.
Yeah. That's wild. Because
Kareem played for them. Yeah.
Oscar Robertson.
Never scored 64.
Bobby Dandridge. Didn't Ray Allen play for the Bucks?
For a moment, yes.
Wow.
A franchise record, 64 points.
I never would have thought. Goodness gracious.
Let's go to the post-game interview with the Pacers head coach, wherever he comes from. Whatever
what happened after the game was unfortunate. There was a misunderstanding about the game ball. It was Oscar Tshiebwe's first official NBA point, so we always get the game ball. We were not thinking about Giannis's franchise record, so we grabbed the ball, and a couple of minutes later, several of their players ended up in our hallway, and there was a big I don't know what to call it, a fracas, melee, whatever. I don't think any punches were landed, but my general manager got elbowed in the ribs by one of their players. And so he certainly has a bruised rib, and who knows, if it's anything more than that. But unfortunate situation. We don't need the official game ball. There's 2 game balls there. We could have taken the other one, but it didn't need to escalate to that. And so, really just, unfortunate. Third game we played these guys within 2.5, 3 weeks. So things are heated with the competition. And, I understand all that. But for it to come into the hallway didn't need to happen that way.
Okay. So Giannis scored 64 points, single game Milwaukee record at Milwaukee. This game was in Milwaukee.
Was it?
I thought it was. Milwaukee was the home team.
Okay. I don't recall.
Milwaukee was the home team, and I think there's some significance to that because does the home team not provide the basketballs?
One would think.
What gave Rick Carlisle, who didn't know where Terry Taylor went to school, by the way? Yes.
Getting at.
Okay. What gave the Pacers the right to the game ball on the road? To the game ball. And as he said, I mean, if there's 2 of them, what's the big deal? Just give it up. Get the other one. Get out of there with your loss. Take your L and go.
It was an interesting situation. Unfortunate situation.
And it was an interesting situation that they created.
Did not have to be that way. Look, y'all didn't even ask. Y'all didn't say. Now, an official actually grabbed the basketball on the court And I assume someone said, hey, can we get that ball?
Mhm.
Official just,
Hey, sure.
I'm getting out of here. Official dumps it off and gets out. And next thing you know, they're off in the tunnel. And what happened was, allegedly, someone from the Pacers told Giannis, you want the ball, you're not getting the ball. And that's what what started Giannis going kind of off. Understandably so. If someone told me that, I'm not going to get the ball, bet.
Meanwhile, Shibwe, to say he scored his first points in the NBA is a little misleading. He scored his first point.
Oh, it was a free throw?
In the NBA.
That's unfortunate.
In 6 minutes, he was 0 of 1 from the floor, 1 of 2 from the line, 1 point. Singular.
Can we just say that this is an unfortunate situation that Oscar Tshiebwe is not more productive in the NBA, as good as he was at Kentucky?
Well, I mean, I think you kind of have to look at the Pacers' makeup, particularly where he plays. I mean, they've got Obi Toppin at the 4 and Miles Turner at the 5. So I'm not sure how much opportunity there is for him to be more productive. Meanwhile, Ben Shepherd, former Belmont standout, scored 8 points in 6 minutes last night. Weren't trying to get a ball for him, though.
They'll take the basketball for him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought it was unfortunate, but hopefully Giannis apparently has a basketball. He says it doesn't feel like the game ball, but he's not sure. Well,
it's not like he's going to be playing with it. So
he has a basketball.
He's got a ball.
Let's move on. So anyway, thought that was fun.
It's very interesting. So again, Giannis with 64 points, single game Milwaukee record. Breaks the record of 57 set by, and you'd never guess this if I gave you 10 tries.
No.
Michael Redd in November of 2006, former Ohio State standout Michael Redd scored 57. Giannis scored 55 in January of this year.
Which tied Kareem's Bucks high.
And Brandon Jennings's Bucks high. So let's see. Giannis has had 54 twice. Kareem had 53, 4 times. Giannis and Michael Redd each had 52 along with Kareem. Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton each had 51. So did Kareem twice. So
64.
64.
A new mark for the Bucks franchise.
That's crazy.
All right, let's take a break. We've got to get to Terry McCormick for the Daily Titans Report right after this. Stick around.
He shoots and he scores!
This holiday season, the largest lantern festival in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. Witness more than 1,000 handcrafted Chinese lanterns featuring brand new designs, including towering mythical beasts, a life-sized Santa's workshop, and a 100-foot-long dragon. Welcome back to Zoolumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
Welcome back in. Time now for the Daily Titans Report from Terry McCormick. Terry's got a ball story. Do you have a game ball, Terry?
No, sadly, that's what this story is about.
That's unfortunate.
By the way, it is your daily Titans
elbow
report.
anybody for it?
What's that?
Bows. Apparently, somebody got elbowed at the Pacers. So,
Yeah. Well, this is a different. This was when I was coaching Little League. My son was pitching, and he threw a no-hitter. And the final out of the game, the shortstop made a dive-in catch to save the no-hitter. We were all so excited that he'd saved the no-hitter and that my son had the no-hitter. I forgot to ask the umpire for the ball after the game. No ball.
that is unfortunate. You hate that. Right?
That really is unfortunate. It's bad umpiring too.
Yeah, you got to know that. Come on, man. Come on.
So the umpire left with the ball. What do you do with it?
Yeah, there was another game right after ours, so it was.
We typically give the balls back to the coaches anyway. So yeah. Anyway,
so no ball to preserve. Only memories to preserve the no hitter.
There we go.
Gosh, who's going to play quarterback for the Texans?
Well, I think it's going to be, from what people are saying, it might be Davis Mills.
Great.
Rather than C.J. Stroud. So, concussions are not anything to mess around with. So unless C.J. Stroud, gets some miracle recovery and can get out of the protocol here in the next day or so, I'm guessing that it's probably going to be Davis Mills. Here's one thing that wanted to bring up with you guys today. One thing that, since Will Levis has taken over at quarterback, one area that has improved remarkably, red zone. They are 10 of 18 in scoring red zone touchdowns since Levis took over, now 7 games in. Before that, they were 7 of 21 in the red zone. And actually, the 55.6% that 10 of 18 figures out to is exactly the league average. So since he's taken over as the quarterback, they have reached the league average in terms of red zone touchdown scoring.
That is good news.
That is good news. It's something to hang your hat on going into this final 4 games. Terry, tell us about Zen Sports.
All righty.
The new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee the last few months, and I'm excited to share with you some big news. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports with up to plus 500 odds, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to a $1,000 maximum within 24 hours if the bet loses. And there's more good news. Zen Sports is rolling out its brand new VIP rewards program. This new VIP rewards program will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. The VIP program is by invite only, so if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals than Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Welcome back in. Chris Yalmo, Patton. It is Throwback Thursday. We're going to throw it back to last week when we talked with Steve Lehman about Middle Tennessee State hiring Derek Mason.
We're doing well. Just been running, obviously, as are you apparently. But appreciate you taking some time with us. But you know, you dealt with Derek quite often during his Vanderbilt tenure. And it felt like there was some excitement just among folks who had dealt with Derek when he was at Vanderbilt to see him back in the saddle today.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, number one, everybody who's dealt with Derek Mason knows the type of man he is, and he's a really upstanding, good, solid man. And I think a really good football coach, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I think anybody who knows him is excited for him to have an opportunity just personally. But the other side of this, to me, is Chris Massaro coming through on what he said he was setting out to do last week. And that's to try to reinvigorate this Middle Tennessee football program that, let's face it, the crowds have dwindled in the last few years. And it seemed like it had just gotten a bit stagnant for whatever reason, and that they needed to inject some life into the program. And he said last week, we need to find a guy who's got some personality to him and that brings a little bit of that pizzazz to the table for this football program. And you kind of wondered who that guy might be. And what better guy than a guy who has a great personality, that's known in the area, that's known by high school football coaches around, to come in and excite your fan base. And the other thing about it is it's not just the fan base, but I think you have a lot of people around the country who wouldn't normally pay attention to the Middle Tennessee coaching hire that perked up yesterday when the report started to come out that it was Derek Mason, a former SEC coach, a guy who had a lot of success in the Pac-12 as a defensive coordinator at Stanford, and a guy with NFL ties. For Middle Tennessee to attract that coach, I think you had a lot of football people take notice.
And, you know, Steve, for all of the naysayers with regard to his record at Vanderbilt, Derek Mason is one of two coaches that have taken Vanderbilt to multiple bowl game appearances.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That was one of the things that I had tweeted at me, or X'd at me, whatever it's called now, by multiple people today about, 25-57 record or 10-46 in the SEC. Well, first off, Middle Tennessee isn't competing in the SEC. And I think we all know Vanderbilt has some challenges. Clark Lee's learning that right now. And every coach other than James Franklin has learned the hard way about the Vanderbilt job dating back to World War II. That's how far you have to go back to find the coach before Franklin to have a winning record in his time at Vanderbilt. That is not an easy job. And Derek Mason got them to 2 bowl games in that time. It didn't end well, but he made them competitive while he was there. They were more competitive early on in the Mason era than they have been during Clark Lee's first 3 years. And you can say that about many other coaches there. So I think there's a good track record of Derek Mason, the football coach. And now he has an opportunity to school that he's not going to have to deal with quite the same academic standards. No knock on Middle Tennessee, but it's not trying to get SEC caliber football players into Vanderbilt and deal with that. You're not dealing with the resource game of Vanderbilt versus Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee. And he just gets to go coach ball with a fertile recruiting ground right there in Rutherford County and the surrounding area here in Middle Tennessee, where I think he can put some pretty competitive football teams on the field almost immediately.
And I think a lot of people in this area are going to be excited to see that. And go back and look at the rosters that he put together at Vanderbilt. He recruited this area. And so, as Chris Massaro was saying, he doesn't need a GPS to get to Brentwood or to Ravenwood or to Riverdale or to those places. He knows, he's been on those campuses. He's recruited at those schools successfully. And his team showed that when he was at Vanderbilt. And I think that's going to be something that's going to drive some excitement in this fan base as well. Seeing local kids.
So. I think so, because when you have people who grew up watching guys play at Ravenwood or Oakland or Blackman or up at one of the Nashville schools or a Brentwood or something like that, when you see those kids then play for the local university, it's something to get behind. And I'm with you, Mo. I was sitting there today when Derek was talking about going around to Rutherford County and going to some of the high schools. And I was sitting there thinking, I bet it's like 85% of the time an FBS football coach is hired, and he couldn't tell you the county he was in at the introductory press conference because he's moving from across the country or across state lines or whatever, and he's been there for 12 hours. And now they just gave him a new tie reflecting the school color, and he goes out there and tries to act like he's one of them. Derek Mason has lived in Middle Tennessee for 10 years. He knows Rutherford County. He's recruited Rutherford County. He knows the coaches down there. And I think that is a really unique advantage that he has as he tries to hit the ground running. First of all, to try to convince the guys he has in the program right now that he wants them and that they need to stick around. But also, he's got, 20 days before National Signing Day? So he's got to get out there and beat the recruiting path, whether that's at home or out across the country. And to have that advantage of already knowing the local high school coaches, knowing the Kevin Creasy's, knowing those guys down there in that area that spoke very highly of him, that's a huge advantage out of the gate.
Absolutely. And Chris Massaro even pointed that out, that he kind of had a home field advantage, so to speak, from that standpoint. So Steve Lehman with News Channel 5 joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It just feels like a good hire, a great hire. I mean, I'm a little biased, I guess, but just from an objective standpoint, Steve, I mean, Tim, what's his last name? The DC.
Tim Banks.
Yeah, Tim Banks. I'm sorry. Was the other guy whose name was closely associated with this vacancy, and I don't know how far they got or what happened that he wasn't the guy, but Derek feels like to me a better fit for everything that we've already talked about.
Yeah, I think basically everything we lined up is the advantage that he has over Tim Banks. He already was a head coach. He already lives in the Middle Tennessee area. He knows the recruiting ground in Rutherford County extremely well and around the Middle Tennessee area. All those things, to me, make a lot of sense and make Derek Mason a really good hire for this. Now, will that translate to wins? And most importantly for Middle Tennessee fans, will it translate to championships? Because Rick Stockstill won a lot of games as the head coach in Middle Tennessee. And Derek was quick to point out today that he really laid the foundation for what Middle Tennessee football can be in the FBS and in Conference USA. And now it's his job to build on that legacy. That's all well and good. But what Middle Tennessee fans really want to know, I hear all the time when they talk to me, is are we going to win Conference USA? Are we going to win championships? Because that is the thing that has been missing. And there's really no reason why they can't do it. And I think there's a lot of fans out there who have been frustrated as the conference itself has basically been completely overhauled in recent years. Just about the only teams that are still in it that were there just a handful of years ago are Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. I think a lot of the fans believed, if that's the case, shouldn't we be competing for a championship every single year, if not winning it? And the fact that it hasn't happened, I think, has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So they've got to ultimately get to that point. And I don't know if Derek Mason will be able to do that. I don't know who would be able to do that. But I think at least on day one, he wins you the press conference. He gets the buzz going for the program once again. There is excitement about Middle Tennessee football and a curiosity about what they're doing. And then you couple that with the renovation you're doing to Floyd Stadium, and I think you at least feel like you're putting the things in place to give you the opportunity to be a championship football program year in and year out. And that has always been the goal of the fan base. And now to me, it feels like the administration and the school starting to reflect that priority with this hire and the resources that they're putting into place.
You know, as you mentioned early in this conversation, Steve, how it piqued the interest and perked the ears of football people from around the country, this hire. As I have been perusing the replies of different media members from here, from there, from everywhere, it's so funny that the only negative comments I'm seeing are from Middle Tennessee State fans. Everybody else from outside is saying what a fantastic hire for Middle Tennessee State. Now, obviously, that's not ideal because you want your fans to be excited and all of your fans to be excited. I'm sure there is because Twitter is not a reflection of reality, and we all know that. But, that's got to be, maybe not day one, but in year 2, year 3, when he's already made leaps and bounds strides with this program, and you've got a brand new facility that's nearing completion or perhaps completed in that time frame, it's really going to pay off in the end after this, when this 5-year deal is done.
I think that's true. And for the people who aren't excited about the hire, I guess my question to them is, who would excite you? And that's not to say, right. I mean, look, like, I'm not trying to tell you that Derek Mason is Nick Saban, but you're not hiring Nick Saban at Middle Tennessee. And so would you be that much more excited if you're a Middle fan and the announcement today was that Tennessee defensive coordinator Tim Banks is coming, or if they would have beaten UTEP to the punch and gotten Scotty Walden from Austin Peay? Are you more excited about that? I mean, if you are, I'm interested in the argument of why. But to me, you got a Power 5 level head coach, a guy who has been there and is taking teams to bowl games at that level at one of the toughest, if not the toughest, Power 5 job there is. He's a guy that is widely considered to be one of the best defensive minds in the entire sport, not just at the college level, but including the NFL level. So to me, if you're not excited about that, okay, but give me the guy who would excite you if that's the case. And so part of me wonders if that's just a little bit of the apathy that we've been talking about, that you haven't won as much as you expect, you're frustrated by it all, and you want immediate results. And I feel like today was a home run hire from the press conference perspective for most people who are looking at it reasonably. And if you don't like Derek Mason for whatever reason, then I want to know who you'd prefer to have in that slot that would make you more excited.
Who would you want, and how would Middle get them?
That's the question.
Sure.
And look, a lot of people did want Scotty Walden, and including, we talked about it would be a great hire if Scotty Walden had been hired at Middle Tennessee State. But I don't know that it's a better hire than this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Massaro, and again, we talked about it, Chris Massaro he's in a situation where this hire is incredibly important to his legacy, but particularly his job. And so it's important for him to get this one right. And, if this doesn't work, it will not be from a lack of effort.
Yeah, no question about it. And like I said earlier, they're committed to putting in the resources to making sure that Derek Mason has what he needs to build the program that he wants to do there. And that's incredibly important too. It's not just about having the coaching staff in place. It's about having the resources in place as well for that staff and for your team to do everything they need to do. And it feels like that commitment for the first time is fully on board with Middle Tennessee, which is vitally important as well. I just think the other thing is when you look at hires, I think too often people get caught up in, we want a really exciting offensive-minded coach. We want to play wide open. We want to score a ton of points because that would be really exciting. Or, sometimes in the reverse, it's you've been maybe too offensive and had a terrible defense for a while. So then you think, oh, we need a defensive-minded coach that makes us a little tougher and more physical as a football team. I think too often decisions are made by administrators that are trying to be football people in a lot of senses, about trying to find the sexy thing or the thing they weren't previously, as opposed to trying to find the right fit. And you can make an argument that Scotty Walden's really sexy hire right now. And I love the job he did at Austin Peay. His teams were really fun. I think he could be a good hire for a lot of programs. But I also think when you're looking at Middle Tennessee, it's hard to make the argument that Scotty Walden's a better fit to walk into a job than Derek Mason is right now. And again, that doesn't mean Scotty Walden may not do great things at UTEP or that Derek Mason is automatically going to succeed at Middle Tennessee. But I think the things that Dr. McPhee and Chris Massaro found in this hire were the things that you should be looking for. You should be looking for a guy who reflects the values of what you want, reflects your culture as a campus and as a football program, and understands the area. And he even talked about it. He said, I'm a blue-collar guy. This is a blue-collar program, to the point that we should look like the color that we're all wearing in here today. And I thought that was more than a good line. I think that is who Derek Mason is. I think it is what Middle Tennessee, the school, is. And if they can replicate that and combine that together, I think they've got a chance to have a lot of success in Conference USA.
No question. It's going to be fun to watch. If you're a Middle fan, it may not be as much fun for folks like me, who is a Jacksonville State fan, but perhaps it will be.
We hope to make it a nightmare for you.
We want, look, I personally just want it to be a competitive conference at the group of 5 level. I don't want Liberty to have to get in because the AAC champion has 2 losses. I want this conference to be elevated to a level where we are considered the top G5 conference in the country, just like Chris Massaro said, and get that conference or that college football playoff bid. That's where I want to be. Derek Mason helps Middle Tennessee State elevate itself and therefore elevates Conference USA. And therefore I am excited because I believe it elevates everybody, rising tides and all. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Steve, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and looking forward to maybe getting in touch with you again down the road.
Yeah, you bet, guys. Anytime.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Like, apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I do.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio, too.
As do we.
And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
and we reach every main street in Middle Tennessee, Coach?
Yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
you gotta love it.
Like you're moving. I was impressed.
I'm glad someone.
I don't know if that was on purpose or not, Justin, but that was a heck of a promo, considering that the last guy in the promo is our next guest. So what a segue it is.
Absolutely. It makes it easy to bring SEC Assistant Commissioner, former Duke football coach, David Cutcliffe, into Main Street Sports Today. Coach, welcome back. How's it going?
Well, good. I've been listening to the previous segment. I'm looking at the stuff behind you. I'm catching an orange and white jersey with Manning on the back. Put me in a good mood. Appreciate that. And then Derek Mason is a good friend and someone that I think very highly of. He and his wife both will bring a lot of energy and genuineness to Murfreesboro. No question about that, as will who we're on to talk about, Jeff Ferris to Clarksville.
Tell us more, Coach, about Jeff Ferris, the new Austin P coach, because he was with you during your time over at Duke.
Yeah, I knew Jeff's family when I was in Knoxville. They became good friends, and Jeff was a really good high school football player that was probably headed to Harvard when I got the job at Duke, and a great student, great person. And I immediately recruited him to come to Duke. I knew he would make us better on and off the field, which he did. And it's amazing to watch what he did. I can tell you the kind of, I didn't know what Jeff exactly wanted to do. He had the intellect to do anything he wanted to do. Then he told me right off the bat, he said, Coach, I want to sit, even though I may play defense or offense or receiver. He said, I'd really like to sit in the quarterback meetings and learn football, listening to you talking about that position and talking about defense. And I said, sure. So as a player, he basically ran our scout team defense because he knew what we were trying to get looks at quarterback. He was back there in the secondary doing that. Did some things in the kicking game for us as a player, but in 3 years he was graduated from Duke with a perfect GPA. And I'm telling you, smart. He makes me really dumb. Okay, and he's brilliant. Then he got another degree the next year. It was in economics, I think, his degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got a master's in economics. And then I hired him as a GA. I wasn't going to let Jeff leave. So he was a graduate assistant for us and went to graduate school in divinity. Now I'm even feeling worse. I'm like, hey, I'm the real blue devil. Maybe I'm the black devil. And Jeff goes to divinity school and does great. And then at 24 years old, I made him the youngest assistant position coach in the Power Five. He, at different times, coached receivers for us, coached tight ends, coached quarterbacks, coached part of special teams. And Jeff and I used to talk a lot about this. I would get young people asking me, young coaches, Coach, how can I become a head coach? Well, you don't become one. You have to be one from the get-go. You have to understand that you should be the best football coach on the staff, meaning no offense, defense, line play, special teams, secondary. You got to have a thirst for it. Well, I told Jeff that when he was a freshman talking to me about coaching. I would come into the office and he would be sitting in John Latina's office, our offensive line coach, learning offensive line play. So I think people that are listening to this are understanding who Jeff Ferris is. And when he was a GA, I had a coach on our staff, Sonny Lubick's son, Matt Lubick, who I love dearly. Matt was a great organized recruiter and signed a lot of players for us from California, from just about everywhere. And Jeff sat with him and talked recruiting every day. And so he quickly became the best recruiter on our staff. He is tireless. He's got great energy. But I started this by comparing he and Derek Mason. He's genuine. He is a great person. His wife, Natalie, is a great person. I felt like a grandfather everywhere because all of our young coaches all got married and had children throughout our career, through 20 years at Ole Miss and Duke. And just I love every minute of watching Jeff grow. And so when I was asked about him, I said, I don't know what your needs are in your mind. You know that, I don't. Jeff Ferris already is a head coach. He just doesn't hold the position. So I'm excited. He won't even hardly answer my text, which makes me smile because I know he's 900 miles an hour. I got one at 1 a.m. this morning, which is appropriate for him. And but he knows, I'm here for him anytime. And I'm excited to see what happens to already a program that's really been on the rise and taken other good steps under Gerald Harrison's care. So I'm really excited for the people that are around Austin Peay and the great town of Clarksville. And by the way, prayers there. I know a lot of people that suffered a lot of loss there in a lot of ways. So, prayer for all you guys in Middle Tennessee. That was frightening.
Well, Coach, we appreciate that. And I know you go way back with Clarksville, one of the greatest offensive linemen ever to play at the University of Tennessee, Harry Galbraith from Clarksville. But you mentioned Gerald Harrison. You and he were at Duke at the same time as well. And I figured that might have had something to do with this.
Well, he got introduced to Jeff that way. I brought Gerald from Tennessee to Duke. And, I think it was an opportunity. Gerald was, looked at in a way I think at Tennessee was a little different. He came in and got an assistant athletic director's position. Just took off from there. After Kevin White saw him, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years over there with us, he snatched him from me into the mainstream of senior associates. And he went from there. And Gerald is a superstar in himself with a great work ethic. But that exposed him to Jeff. I mean, when y'all are around him and you spend time with him, you're going to see what I'm talking about. He's a great person, but he's eloquent. He can speak. You got to slow him down sometime. I say, Jeff, we're in the South, man. His parents are both from Boston. So I said, hey, we can't calculate that many words a minute. Okay. We're Southerners down here. So I slow him down every now and then, but I kind of knew from the get-go that there was something special there.
Coach David Cutcliffe joining us here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little bit about new Austin P football coach Jeff Ferris. And, Coach, you mentioned it. We've got a great contingent of football coaches in Middle Tennessee at the collegiate level right now with Derek and Jeff coming on board. It just feels like this is a really good time for Middle Tennessee. And when you talk about taking that next step, this is obviously a program that has, like you said, been on the rise, but Jeff gives them the ability to continue doing that through, the game being an offensive game right now, it feels like.
Yeah.
When you are trying to be at that highest level of the FCS, it feels like it's a quarterback-driven game. How does Jeff play into that? He just got a massive quarterback recruit from East Carolina, a transfer. It's already paying dividends. This is going to be a big step for Austin P and for Jeff. It feels like this is not his end game.
Yeah, I had him coach Riley Leonard when Riley came in, and Riley just made them incredible jumps in progress, and it got him ready. And Jeff's got a great reputation already offensively, and those kids are going to know that. But what I talk with Jeff about is at the FCS level, sure, you're going to lose some people occasionally to the portal that get lured to the FBS or even a Power 5 level. But you got a program there at Austin P. And you get the right people instilled in the right spots and you build around it. But he knows how to develop a program. That's what we had to do at Duke. It was not instant success. You got a chance to develop some greatness there in every position. And I know he's carefully going through his staff to know that he's got to have coaches that win every day. And Jeff's got one thing on his mind, and that'd be national championship. And why wouldn't you think that? You're in a playoff-driven league, and that's what he's going to strive to do and build. But you surround yourself with winners. You surround yourself with people that have those same focused goals. I don't know if I like the word goals. Sometimes I just think daily habits are champions. That's where you see the difference. And so whether it's a Peyton Manning, a Eli Manning, all these guys, Heath Shooter, to speak of some, and then of course Daniel Jones and Riley. It's Jeff understands daily habits. He's got him himself as a coach, and he will have those players understanding that. Their practices will be fun to watch. I can promise you that.
And Coach, you're familiar with the talent level that will be at Jeff's disposal just out his backyard. I mean,
yes.
Middle Tennessee talent has exploded here over the last 10 to 15 years. It's going to be a lot easier for him to continue that rise for Austin Peay from a recruiting standpoint than maybe it has been for previous coaches up there?
Well, I certainly hope so and believe that. You know, I hammered the doors of Nashville starting back in 1982, and as the city and the area erupted, so did high school football. You know, we've come a million miles since that time when I was working for Coach Majors. But every player that I ended up signing out of Nashville ended up being really good football players for us at Tennessee. And then later I signed some at Ole Miss that were extremely important to our success. And what I'll give you one. I'm getting ready to do a thing on Patrick Willis from Brewston, not all that far from you guys. And Patrick, you know, in this day and age of stars, was I think a 3-star guy after we offered him. But you find those guys in camps. You work hard, you turn every stone, you develop, and Jeff will develop great relationships with the high school coaches. And then you start learning those coaches when they say, hey, I got one. And you know that one knows what he's talking about. And you find those guys. And nobody knew Patrick Willis's name as a freshman until he covered a kickoff in Oxford against Alabama. And on about the 12-yard line, a guy caught the ball on the goal line, brought it out, his mistake. And Patrick separated his body and the ball, and they're still hunting body parts on that return, man, on the square in Oxford, Mississippi. So, yeah, everybody knew Patrick's name then. And he was freshman All-American. But you can find those guys. And I've talked to Jeff about that. I said, you know, hit the road, man. You know, get your coaches out there, win every day. And he'll have that opportunity. And I don't know, I can't keep up with him. I don't know anybody that can. I think I could have in my youth, but I had to say, Jeff, slow down. We're not going to 12 schools today, okay? You know, but he will take advantage of that opportunity, and I'm a big fan of Tennessee high school football. And you know, you mentioned coaches. I'll mention Clark Lee, who's become a friend in my role in the SEC, and I coached against Clark when he was a defensive coordinator. What a terrific football coach. And it may not look like it to people the way this season went, but that's people don't understand. Saturdays is not the only time you measure a coach. There are a lot of things that can occur that affect outcomes on a Saturday. But I go to Vanderbilt for campus visits, and I see all those folks up there winning every day. Every day. I see the same thing up in Knoxville. So you do have some outstanding football coaches, you know, in the state. But right there in Middle Tennessee, that's some really good football coaches. As well as the collegiate, you also have them in the high school level. So I'm excited for Austin Peay, and I'm certainly excited for Jeff Ferris.
No question. You mentioned your role in the SEC, and we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you how much of a role you played in the schedule. Obviously, you know, last night it was released. We know that you were the one who put Florida and Alabama back to back for Tennessee. Weren't you?
No, I stay away from that. There's a company that we've hired, and they've done an amazing job. The people that stay in the midst of that scheduling. But the balance of that schedule over a 10-year span is scary balanced. There's just not much leeway. And you know what my wife looked at it and she said, this is crazy. And I said, wait a minute. Everybody get used to this because records are going to change. You can't have a league like that. Look at the NFL. Who won the Super Bowl a year ago? The Chiefs. They don't have a lot of different people, but how many losses do they have right now? 4. There's going to be 2 and 3 and 4 loss teams that are darn good football teams.
Yeah, there's no question. You're right, because it's easy to be balanced when everybody's good.
Well, and you look at the schedules, each one, you know, because you can pick any of them and think, dang, man, that's challenging. And I looked at it as a coach. Some of them, I'm wondering how I could sleep all summer. Oh, my gosh. You know, and that keeps you up. You start your summer scout reports, you get your staff working on it, and then you do your own studies. That's kind of what I did during my vacation. And Lord, that can get heavy in the summer, let alone at least it's 1 week at a time in the fall. You can't think ahead, but man, when you're looking ahead, it's frightening.
Coach David Cutcliffe joining us here on Main Street Sports Today. Coach, we appreciate your time so much today. Thanks for enlightening us on Jeff Ferris. We are very excited to have him here in Middle Tennessee and at Austin Peay. We know he's going to do great things.
Yeah, just don't put my picture and Jeff's picture together up there anymore, because man, does he make me look bad.
Hey, we know how you feel. We know how you feel.
I got it. All right, guys.
Thanks,
care.
Coach.
The main men on Main Street. That's what.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about that SEC schedule and more right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSWA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here on this Throwback Thursday. Man, two great segments there, going back to Steve Lehman, talking about Derek Mason, and, of course, Coach David Cutcliffe.
Man, I would have Coach Cut on every week if we could.
It's just he is a wealth of knowledge and just an entertaining guest.
And the thing about it is, when he's on the mic, when he's off the mic, it's the same guy.
Yeah, it's story time with Coach Cut would be an absolute blast.
I'd imagine he's got a couple.
All right, Coach, what's your story today? Well, I'll think about 1984 when
I've said it that one of I would think one of the plum assignments would be covering a team that Charles Barkley was on when he was playing. Because, I mean, if there's a slow news day, you just walk in and you just stick the recorder in front of Charles and just let him go. I think Coach Cut would be the same way.
Yeah, no doubt. As we mentioned in that segment, the SEC did release its first schedule with 14 teams.
16.
16 teams.
That's the
I know.
difference.
That's insane. and so
and as Ms. Cutcliffe said, that's crazy.
It is crazy. And so we'll kind of go through it here. Wade, if you want to pull that mic in, you can certainly join us. Wade Neely, who is sitting in the building.
The videoless Wade Neely. We can't see Wade,
but we can hear him. It could be.
Well, I mean, if there's somebody that we don't want to see, I'm not sure that you're it, but okay. Here's what folks are going to have to get used to about this: is divisions are gone.
No divisions.
So
how do we feel about that?
I don't know, and I think it's going to be really interesting when it comes time to to break ties. I mean, what if you've got a tie for the number 2 spot and they've not played each other and they've not played the same folks? And I'm sure there's something in place for it, but I mean,
yeah, I would love to know because it is going to be different. And I really don't know the answer to that. I don't know how that
I feel like as smart as the people are in the Southeastern Conference office, they have some contingency in place for that. I would love to know what it is.
There were some teams who were pretty happy, I think, and others who were not. I'm interested here because it looks like everybody has 2 off weeks, which is unusual, but everybody's playing on week 0 this year. And I wonder if that's what they have to do now. Like if the SEC, because normally not every SEC team plays on week 0. It's typically not been the case, but every team is playing week 0 this year. You've got Georgia, Clemson, Florida, Miami, LSU, USC. That's going to be fun in Vegas. Texas A&M, Notre Dame, and then Vandy, Virginia Tech. That's interesting. Man, I don't know. This is really wild. I was trying to see who all has off weeks before Alabama because that's always their big gripe. Georgia is off before playing Alabama, as is LSU.
That's LSU's second off week.
And then as is Oklahoma, their second off week.
Okay, Mississippi State is off before they play Georgia, but let's see.
Mississippi. So that's 3 teams with off weeks before Alabama, including Georgia. That's unfortunate. They're going to gripe about that. I can tell you.
Did you mention that Vanderbilt is off before they play Alabama?
I didn't get that far down.
They are.
So 4 teams who are off before playing Alabama. Half of their
8-team schedule.
Half of their 8-team conference games will be.
The opponent will be coming off an off week.
That is remarkable.
Well, Alabama's off before they play Georgia and LSU.
Well, okay, so they both have an off week before those 2. Okay. Well, that makes you feel a little better. Tennessee plays Florida before playing Alabama back-to-back. Alabama has Vanderbilt and South Carolina the 2 weeks before it comes to Knoxville. Just
doesn't feel like the same comparison.
No. Well, I don't know. South Carolina, if Well, they just got Rocket Sanders. Okay.
And they're in on KJ.
They're in on KJ Jefferson. I mean, perhaps, I don't know.
Which
South Carolina may be decent. Good.
And
even?
unfortunately, South Carolina and Arkansas do not play this year.
Oh, man, that's what we were hoping for yesterday.
We sure were.
That is unfortunate. But, you know, Tennessee has a pretty solid schedule. They open with Oklahoma. That's a tough one. Oklahoma's first SEC game will be at home against Tennessee. You don't think they're going to come ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to the big show.
For both those teams.
For both. Yeah, because the last time they played was an absolute dogfight in Knoxville.
And I will tell you, Oklahoma folks, I mean, that entire contingent, the fan base, the players, the coaching staff, those folks that were in Neyland Stadium that day will tell you that they had not been in another environment that was as intimidating. I think Tennessee earned a lot of respect from, arguably one of the top programs in the country, the way they showed up and showed out that day. And so when Tennessee goes to Norman, it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do out there.
Oklahoma's got a really tough schedule. Big 12 Houston and Tulane before Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to Auburn, and we all know what can happen when you go there. Then they're off before Texas in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. They get South Carolina at home, then they got to go to Ole Miss, and that's not an easy game. Then Como as well.
You skip Maine.
I said tough schedule. I also skipped Temple. and then they've got Alabama and
You got to look
LSU.
out for those Black Bears.
You better watch out. They're actually a pretty good FCS team.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Alabama and LSU to close the year. That is brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. Nobody has a tougher final stretch than that. I mean, maybe Florida, who ends with Ole Miss and Florida State.
Auburn's got A&M and Alabama to close.
Well, I'm holding out on A&M right now, just because I don't know. And then LSU, Tennessee for Vanderbilt. That's a tough stretch too.
Kentucky goes to Texas and then has Louisville at home to close out.
I mean, it's not been a tough game for Kentucky recently. They pretty well ran roughshod over Louisville the last couple of years. But they are a good, they're a good football team. There's, I mean, you don't just show up and play, and it's a rivalry and all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, look, this SEC football season will be the most entertaining. And here's what, again, you're going to have some 2, 3, 4 loss teams who have got some who are going to be really good, but some of those 2 loss teams are going to be in the mix for the playoffs.
Got to be,
and maybe even one of the 3 loss teams.
It's going to change the landscape.
It changes everything. You can lose a couple games now. Every game doesn't matter, but a lot more games on the back end of the schedule certainly matter, I think, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
And as I say, it just means more.
It just means more. We'll come back tomorrow on Friday. We'll be picking games tomorrow. Justin, get ready. We got bowl games to pick starting tomorrow. Saturday bowl games are underway. We'll see you then.